can see the way it's broken down. So the RQS, or the regional qualifying score, you take the top 6 scores. 3 of those scores have to be from away meets. You throw out the high and then you average the next 5. So with that, after week 8 here in kind of midway through the season, the whole lineup, the whole ranking order is going to change, just because we're going to go from an average-based system to an RQS-based system.
Yes, absolutely. And those teams trying to get in the top 36 to qualify for the first round of NCAA postseason championships.
Excellent. And let's talk a little bit about the coaches. So we've got some really experienced coaches, although some of them are new to their teams. So this is Penny Jernigan, the head coach for Western Michigan. She's in her 6th season, but prior to that, she spent 18 years with North Carolina coaching the Tar Heels as an assistant coach. And as you can see, the team has set a program RQS 4 times under her helm.
Yeah. And for William and Mary, we have head coach Mary Lewis, who's actually been with the program for 25 years, and Kelsey Hinton as the assistant coach, former NC State gymnast, about 10 years ago in her 4th season.
I always forget that her last name is Hinton now.
Yes, used to be Kelsey Lee.
Excellent. And let's take a quick glance at Kim Landra. So again, in her 2nd season with the Wolfpack, a very young staffing coach with Kim and with Phil Ogletree, both in their 2nd seasons. But both of them have excellent prior coaching experience with previous teams.
Yes, absolutely. And then we also have Bob, who has been with the NC State Wolfpack for 7 years.
Excellent. It looks like we are about to get underway. So the Wolfpack, as the home team, are going to lead off on vault. All the teams are going to rotate in Olympic order. So vault, bars, beam, floor. Host team has the advantage of starting on vault, ending on floor, which is always the most fun event to watch. And then you can see there William and Mary is going to be on bars. Western Michigan is going to start off their night on beam. And you've got the current lineup. So it looks like they are finishing their touch period, which is just a quick way for the gymnasts to get back on the event. They probably warmed up vault, I'd say, almost 2 hours ago. And it looks like William and Mary's actually already up on the uneven bar, so the judges are allowed to take control of their event. This is Morgan Spence, one of the all-arounders for the Broncos. Victoria Pratty up first for the Wolfpack, and then we saw Katie Weber on the uneven bars. Morgan Spence, actually a native to Raleigh, North Carolina, so I know she's got a bunch of fans in the audience.
Victoria Pratty up on vault for the pack. Well, that was pretty perfect. I don't think that she could have executed that vault any better.
Yeah, that was great. Stuck landing, too.
Over to bars. Looks pretty pleased with that routine as well.
I know it's hard to keep up with all 3 teams when they're moving at once. The nice thing about a dual meet is you can watch one at a time, but if we went one at a time with 3 or 4 teams, then it would take a lot longer.
It would make for a long night. Looks like the first round of gymnasts have competed at this point. Up next on bars, from Western Michigan, we'll have Emily Karras, and right now on vault, we are looking at Lauren Kent, waiting to go.
And I'm not sure on that vault, was she supposed to be in a layout position? It looked like her knees bent a little bit.
It did look that way. I'm not sure. You could tell in the last vault that we saw that she was clearly in a tucked position. This looks like it could be tucked or laid out. I'm sure that will be a little bit of a deduction either way.
Definitely. Lauren Kent, a sophomore from just down the road in Willow Springs, season and career high on vault of a 9.575. And back over to the balance beam, Emily Careless.
Nice acro combination. Saw a cat leap into a side aerial. Little balance check there, but.
And again, that very common kind of handspring layout step out. We will see some variation from that tonight, but for the most part, that seems to be kind of what, kind of the go-to for most gymnasts.
The previous gymnast on beam earned a 9.75, which is a great way to start off their beam rotation.
This is Taylor White for the Tribe and Caitlin Fillard for the Wolfpack. Fillard, one of their all-arounders.
Great vault by Caitlin. She's a tiny hop at the very end. But other than that, very nice. We're looking at Western Michigan over there on the balance beam, and it did look like she hit that routine, so I happened to catch the landing, and it looked very nice.
Her teammates seem definitely pleased with that. And then we've got some quick little pep talk. This is Katie Waldman for William and Mary. Katie does actually kind of a unique dismount on bar. She does an Arabian double front. So forward landing that's blind, so we'll see how she does there. And Shaylin St. Bryce for the Tribe up next. It looks like a 9.75 from Emily Careless coming in.
Taking a look at Paris Phillips on vault.
Paris last week landed a little bit short, kind of tweaked her ankle a little bit, so I know it's right back in lineup. She had to actually start a floor event.
Yeah, I know her teammates are happy to have her back, and obviously her twin Alexa back in the lineup. I know that they compete back-to-back on floor and vault.
And that was a much better vault than last week. So again, she just had that short landing. Not sure if a hand slip, just didn't get the block that she needed to and kind of tweaked her ankle a little bit.
So we're looking at Shaylin St. Bryce on beam from Western Michigan. It was a bigger balance check than just a 1/10. Over to bars with William and Mary.
Again, Katie Waldman, so she's got this Arabian double front coming up here at the end of her routine.
Very high. So you could see that she was probably 2 feet higher than the high bar there, but wasn't able to control the landing. Very nice vault from the other Phillips twin, Alexa.
Yeah, that was a huge vault, just not able to control that landing. And I know one thing NC State's really going to work on, especially going into the latter half of the season, is those stuck landings so that they're not getting dinged 5-10s on each event.
Sure, I mean, with a all-around score of a 196, which they've been nearly achieving, if you could just add, a 10th here and a 10th there, they could really bump up that RQS. Drew Grantham getting ready on vault.
She is the 6th and final competitor for the Wolfpack. So as you can see, vault moves a lot quicker than the other events. Vault, it probably takes, 6 seconds by the time you actually run down there, do the vault, and salute the judges. So vault ends really quickly. Bars right behind it, and then beam and floor take quite a bit longer. So we'll actually get to hone in on some of the individuals on the team specifically on those two events.
Drew Grantham with an excellent vault. Very minor hop on the landing, but I really didn't see any other deductions.
Yeah, I actually really liked at the end. She knew she was so high in the air, she kind of flared her arms out to slow her rotation down, which is something the judges really look for when they're looking at height, distance, dynamics. How big is this vault? If you have to show them that you have to control it because you have too much power, that's fantastic.
It's a good problem to have, and she was able to control her power pretty flawlessly.
So again, the Wolfpack, the team event is done on vault. I don't believe they have any exhibition, so we'll move back over to the balance beam. This is Caroline Capone. I know we touched on it a little bit before the meet, before we were on air, but the Broncos have a very tall team, which I feel like actually helps them on beam.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that the judges are looking for are those nice lines. Unfortunately, we did see a fall here, so that will be 5/10 off of her total score. Gymnasts tend to be a little bit shorter, a little bit stockier, a little bit more compact. So when you can see a gymnast that's nice and tall and lean, it's always aesthetically pleasing, their skills.
Definitely. And over on the bars for, oh, sorry, this is Caroline Capone on the bars, and Rachel Binkley was on beam. The names mixed up there. Caroline was actually the ECAC Gymnast of the Week last week.
And you mentioned the ECAC there, Rachel. So, you know, we do have William and Mary in the ECAC conference in Western Michigan, in the MAC conference, and obviously NC State in the Eagle conference. So all of these teams are obviously looking to put up their best score, but also looking to climb the rankings in their respective conferences as well.
Exactly. I know, again, Capone had Eagle, ECAC, I'm so used to saying Eagle, ECAC Gymnast of the Week. She, I believe, is their only all-arounder, and they had a dual meet last weekend, so they competed Friday and Sunday. NC State's actually doing that this weekend, and she actually posted the top all-around score at both of the tribe meets with a career high of 38.9 on Penn, or at Penn on Sunday.
Back-to-back meets don't happen very often when a team competes on a Friday and a Sunday. It is a little bit difficult on the team, especially in regards to travel and just kind of picking and choosing your lineups a little bit, being a little bit more careful with that, just because it is a lot on the gymnast's body.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard enough doing one meet every weekend for 13 weeks, let alone two in the same weekend. This is Evan Pakshong for the tribe.
And she actually averages about a 9.77 on this event and a high of a 9.825.
Nice double layout dismount, just that step on the landing. And so what you can watch for too, I think the judges look at how big the step is. A small step is going to be a 0.5 to 1/10, but a large step like that, you're getting into at least the 2/10 range.
Right, exactly.
Amelia Moeller for the Broncos. This Bronco team averages a 48.167 on beam. Their high of a 48.9. So again, just narrowly missing that 49 mark, which I know a lot of these teams are. That's kind of the ground to break. If we can get a 49 on each event, it's a 196 team total, which is huge.
Absolutely. We actually saw there a 3-flight series, meaning that she did 3 acrobatic elements in one series, which is not typical for college gymnastics. So really showing a unique degree of difficulty.
Kind of a unique move there. They have to change their elevation levels on the beam. They can't just always stay on their feet. So it looks like that was her way of getting kind of down, doing a low part on the beam. This looks like Erica Marr for William and Mary on the bars as Moeller finishes up on balance beam.
Moeller looking pretty pleased with that routine, same with her teammates.
And you can see the team totals down in the bottom of your screen there. So NC State just under that 49 mark, a 48.8, but that does it actually is over their average. So on vault, they average a 48.632. Their high is a 49 even. So comes in right in the middle there.
Looks like we may have had a fall over there on bars from Erica.
And again, just those hops on the landing, steps on the landing, which is going to really add up, especially if you've already had a 5/10 execution error for that fall.
Absolutely.
So we've got one more Bronco to compete. This is Rachel Underwood, who is also one of their all-arounders. So the Broncos have two all-arounders, Morgan Spence, who actually led off the meet on beam, and Rachel Underwood, who's going to be the anchor on beam. And Amelia Moeller coming in with a 9.8.
It's a great score for the Broncos. Beautiful side aerial. We were talking about how tall they are, and she's definitely one of the taller gymnasts. At least it looks like it.
I think
from
she's
here.
Yeah, I think she's the tallest one on their team, coming in around like 5'8", which is again huge.
Yeah.
Huge for a gymnast, but you know, I would say the average gymnast is around the like 5'2"-ish mark.
Yes, I would think that too.
So an extra 6 inches, and you have to imagine on floor when you're tumbling, it's 6 extra inches you have to rotate to be able to land on your feet.
Yep.
So William and Mary looks like they are done on the uneven bars. They are not putting up any exhibition. And they came in at a 46.925. I think they actually had to count a fall. I'm thinking we missed one that was not shown. They typically average about a 47.91, so it's about a fall below where they should be.
Yeah, it looks like they did have to count a fall. Beautiful stuck landing from Rachel for the Broncos.
All right, and it looks like the Broncos may have an exhibition spot going. So kind of the unique thing about these tri-meets is normally the last couple people on beam or floor, all eyes are on you because the other two events are done.
Are all finished. So this is a great opportunity for this gymnast to get experience competing, not only an away meet, but also a tri-meet where it is a little bit busier, it's a little bit louder, some more things are going on, so.
Just waiting for Underwood's score to be calculated. You'll see that Western Michigan score down at the bottom of your screen change with Rachel's. That was a pretty strong routine. So that 47.875 will jump up just a little bit. William and Mary's did jump up a little bit with their final competitor as well, with Erica Marr's routine. Again, Western Michigan, that score going up because they were then allowed to drop the fall that they had. So out of their 6 competitors, Rachel's score counted at the 9.575.
So this should be the final scores for the 3 teams for the first rotation.
This is actually Alyssa Keller on the balance beam. She's one of their freshman gymnasts. Not one of their taller ones. She's only 5'3".
Yeah, it's great to get the freshmen out there on the floor, on the beam, and all the events, you know, because they're the future of the team, and so the more experience that they can have, Obviously, your confidence builds. You just gain experience getting out there.
Yes, Rachel Underwood is one of their seniors. She's been a staple on this team for 4 years, and so they will have to replace that routine, which is a great opportunity for Keller to really step up to the plate.
Sure.
So, great experience.
So that looks like it concludes the first rotation. You can see the scores.
So we'll get some last minute tips, words of advice, encouragement as the Broncos move on to the floor exercise. NC State will come back on rotation number 2 on the uneven bars, and the Tribe will move to balance beam. You are watching NCAA Women's Gymnastics here on ESPN3. We'll be right back. Welcome back inside Bilbano Arena at Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina. We've got a great matchup between the NC State Wolfpack, the Western Michigan Broncos, and the Tribe from William & Mary. We're getting ready to get started with rotation number 2. You can see the team totals so far. So Taylor, what can you tell us about what we saw just after rotation number 1?
Sure, so NC State coming off a solid vault performance, obviously with the top score of the meet so far. Here you can see Drew Grantham having one of the best vaults I think we've seen. Another NC State gymnast. I'm not sure which twin that was, but great vault rotation from NC State.
It's hard to tell them apart, definitely. And then over to balance beam, the Western Michigan Broncos on their route to a pretty decent score for them, so kind of a mid-48. It's about what they're averaging over the last several meets. We've got a couple of their all-arounders that we'll take some highlights of. Nice job from Morgan Spence, actually the leadoff man on balance beam, so a hard spot to be in. And then over on the uneven bars, the Tribe from William & Mary, a couple of struggles here and there. Looked like they may have had to count a fall. But some pretty strong routines. I know 3 of them do E-level dismounts.
So an E-level skill is actually, the highest level of gymnastic skill can be valued. So the judges do take those into account when tabulating those scores. Love to show the initiative to do some extra difficulty. So like we were saying before, NC State probably expecting to come out of this meet with the highest all-around score. However, William & Mary and Western Michigan have an excellent opportunity to bump up their regional qualifying score with a great away all-around score and hopefully climb the rankings or knock out one of the low ones that they've had earlier this season.
Definitely, and let's take a look at the bar lineup. So NC State, kind of a unique situation where within their conference, within the Eagle Conference, out of the top 5 spots, they own 4 of them, which is fantastic. NC State actually on bars, high score of a 49.2, averages of 48.921, and I believe are ranked 21st in the country on the uneven bar. So a fantastic spot for them to be sitting in.
Mm-hmm. Very strong lineup from the Wolfpack on bars. Obviously leading the Eagle and placements for those bar scores.
Again, William & Mary moving over to the balance beam. I do know we talked about the 3 flight series. I know a couple of their gymnasts do have some 3 flight series coming up. I believe Samantha Sakti does a back handspring layout, and then Katie Waldman back handspring layout. So again, just a little bit more difficult. They have to add bonus to get to a 10.0 start value, and that's one way that these girls are doing it.
Right, especially if the skills can be executed, properly. The judges really appreciate seeing the gymnast taking that extra step and extra initiative to add those skills into their routine.
This is Meredith Robinson on the uneven bars for the Wolfpack, coming in ranked 5th in the Eagle, so she is out of the 4 spots, she's in the lowest spot, but averages a 9.768, a 9.8 career high for that.
Finishing off her bar routine with a double back dismount, small hop on the landing, but a very solid performance from Meredith.
All-arounder for William and Mary. This is Caroline Capone.
Again, we talked about having unique acro series. You could see in what we just saw on the balance beam, she actually went frontwards and then backwards, showing a little bit of dynamics there. Our first look at the floor exercise this evening.
This is Emily Careless for the Broncos. The Broncos averaging a 48.2 on floor. Their high is a 48.75, so again, just a little bit below that 49 mark. Great opportunity to just show off some of their personality, some of their dance moves.
Really solid routine from Emily Careless on floor for the Broncos. A great way to start off their floor rotation tonight.
We saw the very, very end of Grantham's bar routine, getting some high fives from her teammates. What wasn't shown was it was a fantastic routine, so definitely a good opportunity there. Grantham, I think, probably the only one not in the top 5 for the Wolfpack on bars and the Eagle, but still a strong competitor.
Yes, absolutely. In the top 5 probably on other events, I'm sure, on floor.
Yes. Floor and all around. This is Melissa Brooker, our first look at her. We will see her again on the floor exercise. And moving back to the balance beam, this is Madison Dwyer.
So William and Mary has had to already count a fall tonight on bars, unfortunately. So there is a bit of pressure for them on balance beam to hit their routines.
Great release combination by Brooker. You see Grantham coming in there with a 9.75. And really just hoping to stick this landing at the end.
Pretty close, just a small hop, probably a half 10 on that landing.
Definitely again back over to the balance beam, and this NC State meet for the tribe will actually conclude a stretch of 4 meets on the road for William and Mary. So I know next week they'll be excited to get back home into their own arena, have a home crowd cheering them on.
Yeah, it's never easy to travel that much. I mean, not only are they traveling for gymnastics, but a lot of times missing school and classes during the week as well. So trying to just catch up on that schoolwork just makes for a lot of exhaustion. Shailene St. Bryce we're looking at on floor right now. Looks like she's having fun out there.
She is one of their freshmen from Mooresville, North Carolina, so just a couple hours from here.
Closer to the Charlotte area. Nice double pike.
And I believe the tallest one on their team. Back over to the uneven bars. Maggie Tamburro is the Wolfpack bar specialist. She is actually tied for the #1 spot in the Eagle Conference. An average of a 9.789, high of a 9.9.
Little short on that landing. that step at the end is definitely going to cost her. Definitely have seen her do a little bit better. So I know that she'll be looking to improve that for next week.
They always say sticks are contagious, so I know they're waiting for just one person to stick the landing so that they can start kind of spreading the love.
Katie Waldman getting ready for balance beam. It's a unique beam mount that we don't see very often.
Katie normally competing in the all-around, but she is not going to be on floor tonight. Probably saving her ankles. It looks like she's got one of those taped up.
So that was actually a mistake there. She should have connected that layout step out right away. You can see her trying to regain her composure a little bit there.
I know that's something that they'll definitely get back to work on in the gym. So kind of a unique, uncharacteristic move by collegiate gymnasts. You don't see that very often.
She must have been crooked or just didn't feel confident about moving forward, but she probably saved a fall. So nice routine by Caitlin Fillard.
Again, just that teeny tiny hop on the landing. I don't know if she needed that one, but sometimes it's, you know, it's almost like a mental thing that they have to take a step or have to take a hop.
Katie finishing her routine. She fought through that. Unfortunately, she did not have to count a fall, which is great.
Morgan Spence for the Broncos.
Starting off with a nice double pike. You can see her having fun with her teammates over there.
Spence actually comes in number 4 in the MAC conference in the all-around. So again, because of the way gymnastics scores are calculated, she only is ranked in the top 5 on one other event on bars, which we'll see a little bit later on. But because she is a strong all-around competitor, she actually sits pretty high in that all-around spot.
So we talked about the RQS being important for team all-around scores, but it's also how the individual gymnasts, their rankings will also be calculated. So the same goes for them as far as, you know, 3 away scores, highest one being dropped.
Yep. Which plays into if their team doesn't make regionals, you can qualify as an individual, same for nationals. So they're definitely, although it's a team event, you definitely want to do well as an individual as well. Wrapping up with NC State on the uneven bars, that was Lauren Kent, again tied for that number 1 spot in the Eagle with Maggie Tamburo, both season highs and career highs of a 9.9.
NC State looks like they went 6 for 6 on their bar rotation. I know last week they did have a fall that they didn't have to count, but this week, no falls, so always looking for improvements.
This is Evan Pakshung. She actually comes in the 5th spot in the ECAC with a high of a 9.8 on this event. Beautiful switch leap half. That's, again, one of those kind of unique skills that you don't see very often, and she performed that like it was easy.
And that actual double stag jump that she just did, she had to take her eyes off the beam and then throw her head back and then come back down, which is also very difficult. She also shows a great deal of flexibility, which goes into her score for composure purposes.
This is Katie Cox exhibitioning for the pack on bars. Again, kind of one of their staple exhibition routines as they have a few seniors that they're going to need to replace some events with for next year. There's the stuck landing. Unfortunately, that one doesn't count.
the feel-good routine.
Definitely. This is Stacy Harrison for the Broncos.
So for the rest of this rotation, we'll be watching floor and beam routines, and some of the things that you could be looking for if you're watching is the artistry component of gymnastics that artistic gymnastics is comprised of. So the judges will be looking at their choreography, their expression, the way that their routines are put together will also be factored into their scores.
So you mean it's not just about how high they tumble?
Yes.
It's a component.
So that's why you'll see some gymnasts that are a little bit stronger with the acrobatic part of it, and then some gymnasts that are stronger with, you know, the dance and the gracefulness that comes with gymnastics.
A great routine out of Harrison. Getting some high fives at the end there from her teammates. And then again, back over to the balance beam. This is Samantha Sakti. Unfortunate fall there on her acro series. I believe she actually won this event last weekend. I don't know if it was their Friday meet or their Sunday meet, but one of those meets she actually won at balance beam with a 9.875.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate fall. The rest of her routine looks absolutely beautiful. She had a great leap series, another side element.
Trying to dig those toes in there at the end, not to take that little step. So again, definitely unfortunate for the tribe, but they don't want to have to count another fall. So it puts them in a very tough position.
Aaliyah Kerr will be up next on beam, and she will be feeling a little bit of the pressure.
Aaliyah is one of their 2 event specialists. We'll see her on balance beam and the floor exercise next. And then she will be done for the day.
Coach Mary psyching her up a little bit, giving her some words of encouragement.
Rachel Underwood here on floor. She was actually back on floor last week after an injury. I know she was working hard to get back in this lineup. And again, this is a long season. We've talked about it's 13, 14 meets. It takes a toll on all these bodies. She's a senior, so she's been doing this for 4 years now. I know she's probably just hoping that her ankle holds up.
Beautiful tumbling so far.
We saw the nice W for Western Michigan. I know they've got the W. William and Mary has a WM in all of their beam and floor routines. The Pack has their wolf symbol in all of their beam and floor routines. So.
And that's the fun about college gymnastics that we don't always see when we're watching Olympic gymnastics.
It's definitely just a lot more fun to watch. It's a team,
yeah.
It's a true team environment. Olympic gymnastics, I feel like they're always so serious, which it's the Olympics, so I would expect them to be serious. Last tumbling pass for Rachel.
Great routine from Rachel.
You see her teammates kind of on this side there, finishing the routine with her.
Aaliyah finishing up her beam routine here. Didn't catch all of the routine, but it looks like her teammates are really happy with her performance. So a great way for William and Mary to come back from their bar rotation.
Definitely, and I don't believe they had to count a fall. I know they had the one fall, but it doesn't look like they had to count that, and it looks like there is an exhibition out of the Tribe. And on floor for Western Michigan, we may have an exhibition as well. For those watching at home, we only are given the actual lineups. They don't give us if there's going to be an exhibition or not. So we never know who we might see.
They can make that call, you know, later in the day too, where the lineups have to be determined before the meet.
A huge 9.825 out of Underwood on the floor exercise. I'm sure that feels pretty good after being out with an injury.
Beautiful acro series. Rather unique. We saw an aerial right into a back handspring.
This is Erica Marr for those watching at home.
It's a great routine so far from Erica. She's definitely looking to get in that lineup for sure.
Erica only a junior, so she's got one more season that she can be put in. This is Katie Jennings for the Broncos, one of their seniors out of Rochester, Michigan. So we've got two teams done. The Wolfpack has ended bars. The Tribe is done on balance beam. And this is our final competitor on the floor exercise.
So I know you mentioned on beam, there was a gymnast that needed to change levels on the beam, so she needed to sit on the beam at one point, and the same goes for floor exercise. You actually need to change levels in your routine.
So that last tumbling tax will actually be a little bit of a deduction. In collegiate gymnastics, you have to end with, we've talked about the values of all these skills, you have to end with a C salto, either as the last salto or in combination. She did a layout, which is an A, so she's gonna not start from a 10.0. And again, it was just an exhibition routine, so they may just be saving her for later on, really getting her some of that experience.
And that could have been a marker for something else of that C value that she'll eventually put into that routine, but probably didn't feel comfortable doing tonight.
So I believe that concludes our second rotation. NC State's going to move to the balance beam. The Broncos will move to vault, and William and Mary will move right in front of us on the floor exercise. We'll be back in just a few minutes with women's NCAA gymnastics on ESPN3.
I like yours. Does she want to borrow some? She told me she liked my lipstick.
Stop me, open my eyes, turn me loose, and you'll see why. We were born ready. We were born ready. Staring at the pressure now. We won't quit, not backing down. We were born ready. We were born ready.
Keep your phone, keep your number. Escape your long-term wireless contract. It's simple. Get truly unlimited 4G LTE data for just $45 a month with with no contract ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Welcome back to Valvano Arena at Reynolds Coliseum here in Raleigh, North Carolina. You are watching NCAA Women's Gymnastics on ESPN3. We are halfway through tonight's competition in this tri-meet with the Wolfpack, the Tribe, and the Broncos. And let's take a look, Taylor, at how we've gotten to where these teams sit so far.
So looking at bars right now from NC State, had a pretty solid bar rotation. Like we mentioned earlier, did not have to count any falls this weekend, which is definitely an improvement.
Taking a look at some of their top scorers for tonight's competition. Again, this is Lauren Kent, who holds the #1 spot in the Eagle Conference. William and Mary just finished up on the balance beam. A little bit of a struggle. They did have a fall, but I don't believe they had to count a fall. So again, out of the 6 gymnasts that compete, only 5 of those scores count. So it was nice that the other 5 gymnasts hit their routines. And the Broncos on floor. Some really strong floor performances. Taking a look at how they got to where they are currently. Again, that exhibition spot just ending with a layout. And as we get started with rotation number 3, again, the Broncos are going to be on the vault. NC State is going to be on the balance beam, and William and Mary is going to be on the floor exercise.
William and Mary so far putting up a pretty good meet. They are counting 1 fall so far, but hopefully can improve here with the floor exercise. What I was actually going to say was William and Western Michigan putting up a fight here against NC State. Only 7/10 of a difference in their all-around scores right now, which is kind of big for gymnastics. However, the great thing about gymnastics is that anything can happen, especially with 2 rotations left. So
definitely, you've got the Broncos on a strong event for them, which is the vault, and then the balance beam is always, it's a strong event for the Wolfpack, but it's always a shaky event. So you never know what is going to happen. And I'm curious as to how the Tribe is going to perform here on the 3rd rotation. They're only putting up 5 gymnasts on floor, so they do not have somebody in that 6th spot. If somebody makes a mistake, that score has to count.
Yeah, that is a bit of a disadvantage for William and Mary, not having the opportunity to drop their lowest score. But hopefully it won't affect them too much.
There you see the beam line up for the Wolfpack. Aaliyah Harrison in that always fun leadoff spot. This is Evan Pakchong for the Tribe, and Katie Jennings is going to lead off vault for the Broncos.
Taking a look at Aaliyah. Katie Jennings. That was a great vault.
Very unique vault.
That is a Sugahara, which we do not see very often. Typically, we see that round-off entry of a Yurchenko, but that was a Sug entry, which, like I mentioned, we don't see very often. But
and a stuck landing. I don't think you could get more of a stick. I believe that vault does not start from a 10. I want to say it's a 9.9 is the start value, so
I think so too.
No way that she could get a 10.
Certainly a good score.
Yes. And this is Pakchong's final floor pass as we take a look over at Aaliyah Harrison on the balance beam, finishing up with her dismount and a nice stuck landing.
Leah, the freshman, in that staple first beam spot, super confident. We always see a great performance from her, kind of setting the tone for the second half of the meet for the Wolfpack. Over on floor, unfortunately, Evan did have a little bit of a fall on her last tumbling pass, which will be a 5/10 deduction for William and Mary. But otherwise, great routine.
This is Jackie Yates for the Broncos. The Broncos average on vault of a 48.508, high of a 48.675. So again, some of these tuck, twisting vaults not worth a 10.0, so they're already starting at a disadvantage instead of being able to earn a perfect 50 score, so to speak. They're already starting from a high of, roughly a 49.4 or so.
We did see on that landing, she did take 2 rather large steps at the end, which is not ideal, but she did have a lot of power, a lot of height.
You see some of the score updates coming in there as we take a look at Lauren Kent on the balance beam. Again, the anchor on the uneven bar, she barely has a chance to breathe by the time she moves to balance beam, is in the second place spot for this rotation. You see there Aaliyah Harrison with a 9.725. Just that small wobble out of Kent.
On those jumps and leaps, we're looking for at least a 180 split over to vault, full twisting Yurchenko layout.
Was Morgan Spence, again, one of their all-arounders. Spence last week actually had the best vault she's done all year. That one, it looked like she landed a little bit short, kind of had to take either a step forward or a step sideways. So not going to be her season best, but still a strong vault for the Broncos. Nice dismount out of Kent.
Not the best performance that we've seen from Morin, but fought to stay on the beam.
All-arounder Caroline Capone out now on the floor.
Her teammates cheering her on. Great last pass from Caroline. We saw actually a whip back instead of the standard back handspring, which is added bonus. Very nice vault.
Stacy Harrison.
Casey getting ready to go up on beam.
She is a beam specialist for this Wolfpack team. I feel like that's got to be a hard spot to be in. So she came in, warmed up. Now she has sat for 2 rotations, and then she gets, roughly 30 seconds to jump back on the beam, and then here she has to perform.
She's got to stay not only physically warm and warmed up and kind of loose, but also mentally stay in the game for that long. Wolfpack looking a little bit shaky on beam tonight with their first 3 girls. Definitely putting up a really good fight and making sure they're not falling, which is great.
Shaylin St. Bryce there for the Broncos. Great vault last weekend for her. She actually ended up winning the event as a freshman. That one a little bit shaky, some form errors, leg separation, so not going to be the best one that she's done, but still a strong performance.
Great landing from Casey. Again, the Wolfpack looking a little bit shaky on balance beam tonight, but definitely holding it together, which is the most important thing.
Aaliyah Carr on floor.
Beautiful jumps, super high. I think she was jumping higher than her height.
Yes. I've watched her compete over the last few years, and it's like she has springs for legs on top of a very springy floor. Aaliyah helping out last weekend with the Tribe scoring its second best score of the season.
Rachel Underwood wrapping up the vault rotation for Western Michigan with a really nice Yurchenko layout full.
We'll take a look at Caitlin Fillard on the balance beam.
And a dismount pass for Aaliyah. Beautiful routine.
Again, definitely a little bit different spot for the Wolfpack to be in. So they've had the last couple of meets at home have been dual meets. So it's very quiet while they're competing on beam. There may be some background music playing. But right now with floor going, with vault just finishing, you've got a lot of fans in the crowd for some of these other teams that they're having to block out all of these distractions.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's very good practice for postseason. Once they get into the conference championships and regional championships, there are going to be multiple teams. Obviously, at least one on every event, or only one on every event, and a lot of family in the stands, a lot of extended family in the stands at those ones. So a lot more gymnasts are competing, which means a lot more of an audience as well. So much louder, lots going on. And you really have to train yourself for that.
Again, that was Caitlin Fillard wrapping up with a very strong beam performance. Grantham is going to be up next for the Wolfpack. The Broncos are done with vault, so we mentioned Rachel Underwood was their last competitor.
Caitlin Fillard really bringing the Wolfpack back with a strong performance. She looked as solid as a rock. So hopefully the last two competitors will maintain that momentum.
This is Samantha Sakti on floor. She actually comes in ranked number 2 in the ECAC conference on this event, averaging a 9.86, and she's got a pretty big opening tumbling pass.
And beautifully done, not even a step. I would say that was pretty much a stick.
Yeah, that was huge. And I know the NC State has 2 E skills, but out of all of the competitors, there's only 3 E opening tumbling passes today.
And we just saw one of them. Great second pass as well. Over to beam. This is Drew Grantham. Last week had a fall on this event.
Definitely looking to come back. Last week, Drew was a little bit off. She had a couple of falls. Again, luckily the Wolfpack didn't have to count a fall, but I know Coach Landris is always looking for 24 out of 24 solid routines. Again, this is Samantha Sakti. Career high on this event of a 9.925. I would say that was pretty clean.
I would say that was a very clean routine. I would say she's going to get close to that 9.925 tonight.
Definitely. And then back over again to the balance beam. Drew Grantham, just a small wobble on her acro series, but able to hold on, and then just that the tiniest of hops on the landing. So the Wolfpack with one more competitor, the Tribe with one more competitor.
like a 9.825 for that floor routine that we just saw.
This is Nicole Webb for the Wolfpack. She actually comes in ranked 5th in the Eagle Conference on this event, averaging a 9.77.
Marking through her beam routine there.
And again, this is only the 5th competitor for the tribe, but they do not have somebody in that 6th place spot. So all of these scores have to count. Looks like a 9.75 out of Grantham.
Taylor White looking like she's having a great time out there. Big smiles. The judges love to see the gymnasts having fun with what they're doing.
She actually looks like she's enjoying it. It's not just like one of those pasted smiles.
Right, she really does look like it's genuine.
Great finish for
Let's take a look
Taylor.
at Nicole Webb over here on balance beam in the anchor spot for NC State. Very strong competitor on this event. Shows a lot of artistry and a lot of dynamics in her routine.
The career high of a 9.875. I know she's really hoping to get that 9.9 at some point. White finishing up her 3rd and final tumbling pass for the tribe. And a great routine, especially since they only had 5 competitors.
Nicole Webb with a small bobble on that flight series.
Like you said, the pack just looks a little bit shaky on beam, not quite as confident as they have been over the last couple of weeks.
You can see them fighting though, which is definitely important, showing that mental stamina is just as imperative as the physical, especially on an event like beam, if they can just fight through it.
They actually come in number 30th in the nation on this event. So out of the 4 events, NC State in the top 30 places on bars, beam, and floor. Vault would be the one that they're lacking a little bit.
Beautiful double full dismount from Nicole. Happy about going 6 for 6 routines on balance beam. It's always a great way to end that rotation, as it's typically the most stressful for each of the teams, but the Wolfpack looking pretty happy with their performance tonight.
And it looks like we do have 1 exhibition spot on balance beam. You can see the team totals down there in the bottom of your screen. NC State's will probably change a little bit as the last score comes in. William and Mary, you could see, changes a little bit with that last score as well. Western Michigan, since they've been done for a little bit, that 145-1 should be about where they're at.
It's like a 9.8 for Nicole Webb on balance beam. Very nice score. Caitlin Folland, a local Raleigh-Durham girl we have up, a freshman, exhibitioning on beam. Beautiful acro series. We actually saw her change directions, going forward and then going backwards.
Definitely some hard skills to do that. Standing front aerial, which she performed beautifully.
Can you get a nice angle of the balance beam right now, and you can actually see how skinny it is. Barely wider than her foot.
So far, so good for Kaylin. I believe this is her first time out. I have not seen her yet.
I agree with you, and that's a great routine to kind of kick off your career, even as an exhibitionist. She's going to be looking to get herself in lineup soon for sure, especially with a routine like that.
Yeah, definitely. That was fantastic. And, you know, again, they've got Caitlin Fillar that's going to be graduating at the end of the year, so they will have at least one spot that they need to finish. And it looks like that may conclude the Wolfpack on balance beam. Sometimes they do put up 2 exhibitions, so we always want to make sure prior to, but they're doing their post-event huddle. And so there you've got the scores after the 3rd rotation. NC State in the lead with a 146.5, followed by Western Michigan 145.1, and William & Mary in 3rd with that 142.625. You're watching NCAA Women's Gymnastics here on ESPN3. We'll be right back with the 4th and final rotation.
First we huff,
then we puff, then we blow the house down.
Welcome back to the 4th and final rotation of NCAA Women's Gymnastics as the NC State Wolfpack play host to the Tribe from William & Mary and the Broncos from Western Michigan. We're going to get started again. This is the final event. We'll take a look at the highlights to see how these teams have gotten to where they are at so far.
NC State leading the meet. Looking at Western Michigan over on vault. It was their anchor.
Right now sitting in that 2nd place spot with a 145.1.
Caitlin Fillard with the Wolfpack with a very solid routine. Nice duck landing. It's exactly what we're looking for. And there is Nicole Webb. NC State fighting that whole rotation on those little bobbles, but didn't have to count any falls, which is always the goal.
And a nice exclamation point at the end from Webb's routine with that stuck landing.
William & Mary only putting up 5 girls on the floor exercise. Unfortunately counting 1 fall, but you can see right there they had one of the biggest skills that we'll see tonight.
Again, still some great gymnastics for William & Mary. Just looking for a good away score is really what they came to Raleigh for. So their average and their season high, not quite to the same level as Western Michigan and NC State. But again, we've talked about the RQS, how everything's going to change, and this could be a really good away score for them.
Yes, absolutely. And NC State as well, just kind of looking to put up a nice all-around score because although their highest has to be dropped, you know, at least 2 of those scores can be home scores.
Right now their season high is that 196.4 that they got 2 weeks ago here in Reynolds. So as you mentioned, that score is going to be the one that's dropped, but it does mean that some of these 195s they've gotten on the road will count. Hopefully moving forward to Sunday where they visit Kent State, they can get another high 195 or even a 196 and be able to count that away score.
We'll see the ranking shaking up a little bit after this weekend with all of those RQS scores sort of being factored in. Up until this point, it's just been the average of all of their scores. So it's not exactly calculated like that for the rest of the year.
And one meet right now with the average, one meet really can pull your ranking down quite a bit. So
Absolutely.
Once they get rid of some of those low scores, the rankings, like you said, will change quite drastically. So again, we've got the Wolfpack finishing up on the floor exercise. We've got William & Mary finishing up on vault. And on the uneven bars is going to be the Western Michigan Broncos. What's nice is in a tri-meet, nobody has to end on beam. There you see the vault lineups. You've got Madison Dwyer, Katie Weber, Caroline Capone, Erica Marr, Samantha Sakti, and Taylor White. William & Mary posted a season high on vault and beam last weekend with a 48.4 on vault.
Taking a look at Caitlin Fillard, one of the all-arounders from NC State, a senior, very solid competitor throughout these 4 years for NC State.
This is Madison Dwyer. Nice front handspring front. Really hard to stick that landing, and it looked like she controlled it pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. So landing forwards is always a disadvantage for most gymnasts because it is a blind landing. So they aren't able to see the ground before that they land. So it's always impressive if a gymnast can control that landing.
Carissa Ludwig for the Broncos currently competing. Actually, no, I believe this is Rachel Underwood. So Carissa must have either already gone or they changed the lineup on us.
Again, this is Caitlin Fillard. Nice opening pass with a double pike. Jump series. Big smiles from Caitlin.
NC State actually ranks #1 on this event in the conference. Team average of a 48.918, so just narrowly missing an average of that 49, but their season high so far, 49.225 on floor. Looks like Katie Weber is going to be up next on vault for William & Mary.
Caitlin Fillard, beautiful routine. Exactly what the pack is looking for.
Again, Katie Weber for the Tribe.
Big
nice.
Smiles from Katie.
Yeah, nice landing on that one. Again, we've mentioned that those forward landings are hard to stick, but they've had 2 really solid ones so far.
Again, both of those vaults not starting from that 10.0 start value. Actually, none of the vaults we see tonight will start from that 10.0 start value. It's a rather new thing from NCAA Gymnastics, just making it a little bit more difficult for the gymnasts to get that highest degree of difficulty, but also awarding the ones that do. Beautiful double pike, or I'm sorry, double layout dismount, stuck.
Yeah, that was Stacey Harrison for the Broncos.
So this is Lauren Kent for the Wolfpack.
And it looks like they've actually changed around the lineup a little bit. We had Melissa Brooker in the second spot, but Lauren will be taking that. Caroline Capone on vault.
We've seen that vault a couple times today. That full twisting Yurchenko in a tuck position.
Again, the Tribe posting a season high on vault last weekend with that 48.4.
Lauren competing 3 events tonight. For the Wolfpack, and starting off her routine with a double pike.
Now, was she the one that came in for Paris last week and actually earned a really good score? So that may be why they're checking it out again, seeing how well she can perform.
Yeah, last week, unfortunately, the Wolfpack had to use a replacement for a routine from an injured competitor, but she did very well and is obviously in the lineup tonight.
Looks like we've got some judges on the other events that are taking a little bit longer, so we'll hang out here with the Wolfpack on floor. Up next on the bars for the Broncos is going to be Amelia Moeller, and Erica Marr will be on vault for the Tribe.
A little short on that landing for Lauren, but overall pretty great performance. Looks like her team and herself is pretty happy with that.
I think for the second time out, that was a pretty good routine.
Yeah, absolutely. She will only continue to gain more confidence as well as stamina, so that last pass is just going to get easier and better.
Again, this is Erica Marr up next for the Tribe on vault. Capone, I believe there was a kind of difference between the scores. So actually when the judges show each other their scores, they have to be within 2/10 of the average. And so if there is a discrepancy, then they have to meet and determine what was actually done, what was actually seen. So great vault out of Erica. Again, another one of the forward landings. Amelia Moeller on the uneven bars for the Broncos. She actually comes in ranked number 5 in the MAC conference on this event. Averages a 9.779.
So one of the things that we're looking for on these bar routines are, along with the stuck landings, are hit handstands, and Amelia has done a great job so far of making sure that her handstands are all the way up.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic routine. Just that hop on the landing, everything else looked really clean. So again, her season high 9.85, I think it may come in somewhere around there. It depends on how much they deduct for that hop on the landing.
Nicole Webb up on floor for NC State.
On vault, and again, vault goes so quick, so we won't miss too much of the floor routine. Samantha actually ranks number 3 in the ECAC on vault.
And that was actually a huge vault. She was unable to control her landing, but she was way higher than the vault table, which is one of the things that the judges are looking for. But unfortunately, just couldn't control that landing, so she will see a big deduction on that.
Nicole, like you mentioned, just a beautiful gymnast to watch. A little bit more elegant, more graceful floor routine. It's just her style, her personality.
Floor and beam is a great opportunity for the gymnast to showcase that, especially if it is one of their strengths. Beautiful routine from Nicole. Right over to the vault for handspring front pike. Very excited about that vault.
Yes, Taylor definitely excited about that one.
I personally was a front vaulter, so I am partial.
Maybe it's a Taylor
to
thing.
the style. Yes.
Must be a Taylor thing. The Broncos, actually, Morgan Spence had just competed, so this is going to be Alexis Oliver. spins, what we didn't see, she'd actually upgraded her bar routine over the summer, completely changed it around, and last week scored a season and career high of a 9.9 on that event.
Wow.
So again, Alexis Oliver for the Broncos in the final spot.
Huge Ginger release move. Very beautifully done. Really nice second release move. Bail handstand.
The Broncos actually ranked #1 on this event in the MAC conference.
Little hop on the landing, but overall a pretty strong routine.
Exhibition from Winkler there for the Tribe on vault. And Alexa Phillips getting ready to begin her floor routine. Again, we've got some back-to-back large opening tumbling passes from the Phillips sisters.
So the second E-level skill that we've seen, also stuck landing.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I think you could tell by the expression on her face that she was excited about that one.
With big smiles on her face.
Yeah, you can tell these Phillips twins are definitely powerful gymnasts considering the two events that they do are vault and floor.
Getting ready for that last tumbling pass.
You see the entire Wolfpack team, the cheerleaders, everyone with their wolves up at the end. The third tumbling pass, it's kind of like, you know, going into the fourth quarter. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great comparison.
And of course, twin sister right there to greet her afterwards.
So the other two teams are finished with their rotations, so we'll just be taking a look at the Wolfpack for the remainder of the competition.
Again, vault and floor, or vault and bars go extremely quick. Those routines, even a bar routine is, I don't know, 30, maybe 45 seconds. That would be a pretty lengthy bar routine.
Yeah.
And a floor routine can be a max of 1.5 minutes, so you can see there's quite a bit of difference just in the timing. Paris Phillips back in the floor lineup after just kind of a tweak of her ankle last week.
Western Michigan looking like a all-around score of a 193.675, which is right in their average. So obviously a pretty solid performance from them.
Again, just really looking for some of those away scores that are going to be calculated for their RQS. So now we're going to see the exact same tumbling passes, but slightly different dance. It's still the same style of dance.
Yeah, absolutely. They really are twins.
The nice thing about that forward landing is she knew how close she was to the edge of the floor. She took a little bit of a step, but her feet stayed inbound, so there was no extra deduction on that. And on floor, out of their tumbling passes, they are allowed to take a step. They don't have to stick every single one. once she gets that first tumbling pass out of the way, she can just really let loose.
She can just relax. And that's a lot of times the case. The first tumbling pass typically being the most difficult. Ending her routine with a Rudy. So 1.5 twisting forward salto element. Nice routine from Paris. Couple of steps on her landing, but very powerful.
Yeah, great job by both Alexa and Paris. And then we've got one final competitor for the NC State Wolfpack floor team. Get a look at little, Miss Wolf playing with some of the kids. Grantham ranks number 3 in the Eagle on this event. Career high, which she actually got last week, and a 9.925, topping her previous 9.9.
Huge routine. Definitely looking to match that.
Drew is one that definitely wears her emotions on her sleeve, and she knows by the end of the routine if she's nailed it or not.
Yep. Very passionate gymnast.
Like you said, we've had a few E tumbling passes. Drew is capable of doing an E opening tumbling pass, but it's not needed. It doesn't, she still has a 10.0 start value without it, so she plays it safe most of the time. And just does a double back. Good view of all of the NC State gymnasts and the cheerleaders cheering along with Drew.
So NC State already having a strong floor rotation. Takes a little bit of the pressure off of Drew.
And this is the time when the coaches start to play around sometimes with lineups, making sure that they're going to save their top gymnasts for the postseason.
Nice routine from Drew. Clearly happy with that performance. Her team.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic end. I don't know that NC State is going to put up any exhibition spots. It does not look like it. So that will conclude our competition. Again, those scores in the bottom right of your screen are actually going to change just a little. Oh, it actually does look like we have an exhibition. So Melissa Brooker, that was in the number 2 spot in the lineup, switched places with Lauren Kent. So she looks like she's going to exhibition tonight.
It's good. So she will get some floor time tonight, keeping her in the mix for other opportunities or other unfortunate circumstances that would make her have to step up.
Judges just finishing up calculating Grantham's score. Again, with a 1.5-minute routine, there's more that they have to judge on.
It will actually be Alexis Bugler that we see on floor tonight competing. She actually did exhibition last weekend as well. So it does look like that NC State has a plethora of floor routines that they could use potentially, which is a great problem to have.
Definitely.
To have
And you see Coach Landris there. She's actually getting out what's called an inquiry form. So there's a fairly large discrepancy between the two judges for Grantham's score.
So I think what had happened, which I had noticed in the routine, obviously not a judge, but coming from a former gymnast, Drew's first floor pass is typically an open double tuck with the intention of potentially putting in a more difficult element there, but it did look like
It almost looked like a double pike with slightly bent knees.
Right, it did look like she executed the same exact tumbling pass twice in her routine, instead of clearly being in a tuck position for one and clearly being in a piked position for the other. So I'm not quite sure what the deduction is for doing the same skill.
She actually doesn't get credit for that. So if they counted both as a double pike, that second one, because she got into and out of it the exact same way, it actually provides no value part credit, which therefore she was then missing her C dismount. So that's where you get the 9.7 start value, because having a C dismount is a 3/10 deduction.
Right.
So that's what the judges are going over currently. They've actually got the meet ref that is working with them as well. They just want to make sure that they get the right score for the gymnast.
Sure, it's a rather uncharacteristic thing to happen, but of course it does happen, and in those situations, they do have to take the necessary steps to make sure that the scores are calculated properly.
And like you said, Drew has always done that open double tuck. This one, it was kind of one of those where I even questioned, okay, maybe she'll do a tuck at the end versus
right.
Was this a pike kind of thing?
I thought she might do a double tuck at the end as well.
So we'll just have to see. Again, there you see Coach Landris with the inquiry form. So they're allowed to inquire on start values, on skill values, as far as what they've been judged on from an execution standpoint. The hard part is now for Buechler, she's got to stand here and wait
right.
just a little bit.
And then all eyes will be on her as the audience has been patiently waiting for that final score.
And again, this score, it can only really help the pack.
Right.
They've had 5 really strong floor scores out of the 6. If they have to drop Drew's score, it's not going to be the end of the world.
Right. They put up a 195.35 so far, so that's actually higher than their average.
So actually both judges came down on the start value. So they took some additional execution instead of a 10.0 start value. They actually gave her a 9.4. So 9.4 start value ended up in a total score of a 9.1. So my guess is for next week, or actually on Sunday when they travel to Kent State, that they're going to make sure that Drew either really tucks or switches those tumbling passes. That would be my guess.
Alexis Buechler now up on floor as an exhibitionist.
So again, that 9-1 coming in from Grantham, not going to change that NC State team total. That'll stick it at 195.35.
So along with the tumbling and some of the other requirements that they must have are jump series. I believe they have to have another dance element that's with a twist like you saw there, as well as 2 connecting dance moves as well.
Yeah, there's different stipulations. They're called special requirements on each event except vault. So the scores actually start from a 9.5, and then they have to do 4 special requirements and add bonus to get to that 10.0 start value. So great job out of Buechler. The final kind of team thoughts there. So there you saw NC State wrapping up on the floor. Taylor, again, 3 teams today. I think the team totals came in exactly what we expected, but maybe a little bit low just comparatively to some of their averages or season highs. But what were your thoughts on tonight's meet?
Yeah, I think William and Mary probably could have put up a little bit of a better performance. I'm sure that's what they were looking for tonight in order to factor into that RQS score. They usually average about 2 entire points higher than what they have come in. But here you can see some of the highlights. Clearly some great moments from all of the teams here tonight. Lots of takeaways. Really fun competition to watch. We got to see some big skills.
Excellent. And this has been a broadcast of ESPN3 for NCAA Women's Gymnastics. Have a great evening, everyone.